Hi there, my name is Ann Cosma, and I am a teacher on special assignment focusing on personalized learning in the Fullerton School District. Today I'd like to talk with you about the SAMR model and apps that we use in our classrooms. The SAMR model was created by Dr. Ruben Pentadura, and it talks about how technology can enhance and transform both teaching and learning in the classroom. In the center of the screen on the left side, you'll notice a red arrow pointing to a dotted line. The dotted line signifies two levels below and above the line. Below the line are substitution and augmentation. Substitution is where the technology acts as a direct tool substitute with no functional change. Augmentation is when technology acts as a direct tool substitute with functional improvement. Within the substitution and augmentation levels, the learning is enhanced through technology use. Above the line is when we start to transform teaching and learning in the classroom. The next step is modification, where the technology allows for a significant task redesign. Above that is redefinition, with the technology allowing for the creation of new tasks which were previously inconceivable. Let's talk about substitution. Remember, substitution is when the technology acts as a direct tool substitute with no functional change. Some of the apps I've used in first grade that are a great example of substitution include the music and playlists app you'll notice right here. This is called Drawing Pad, Flash to Pass, Accelerated Reader, and Spell Blocks. These apps are great examples of substitution within the SAMR model because, for example, with the Flash to Pass app, students are just using digital flashcards rather than paper ones. With the Spell Blocks apps, students are practicing high-frequency words by using movement on the app to spell out the words rather than writing them on a piece of paper or using magnetic letters. Accelerated Reader substitutes taking a test on their iPad or iPod Touch device rather than on a laptop or computer. Now, my students love using the Drawing Pad app because this app allows them to push the back or undo button and they feel like they cannot mess up on their art. When they're creating with paper and pencil and other mediums, they're very hesitant to draw or create, and they always say, "But I messed up, I messed up." And substituting for the Drawing Pad app allows them a very quick and easy way to undo something that they don't like within their creation. So here you have a few apps that are a great example for substitution. Now let's talk about augmentation. Remember, augmentation is when the technology acts as a direct tool substitute with functional improvement. My favorite example of this is ABC Pocket Phonics, as this app uses audio, video, and tactile support to reinforce phonics skills. Other great examples of apps within the augmentation level could be Endless Alphabet, Grammar Jammers, BrainPop Jr., and even Raz Kids and Storia. These apps enhance the learning because they engage students in learning with movement, activities, modeling of fluent oral reading, and even lots of songs. I know many first graders who will sing you the definition of what a verb is thanks to Grammar Jammers. Now let's move above the line into modification. Remember, modification is when the technology allows for significant task redesign. A great app that's used from kindergarten through 6th grade at Valencia Park School in Fullerton is called Strip Design. This is a comic strip designer with many built-in templates and features that students can use to design and create content. We began using it in first grade at the end of our ELD units as a way for students to prove mastery of the content that they were studying. Also, the SoundCloud app is used in many classrooms as a way to capture student voice. My first graders used SoundCloud to record their brain power book reviews, and then we shared their recordings out via QR code. These apps, along with apps like ST Math, allow for significant task redesigns. Learning begins to be transformed in the modification level of SAMR when the technology allows for students to manipulate, create, and really begin to think more critically and engage their learning at higher levels. Now let's talk about redefinition. Redefinition is the highest level in the SAMR model. Redefinition is when the technology allows for the creation of new tasks, previously inconceivable. The use of QR codes has allowed for a complete transformation of how students access and share information. The example on the left shows one of my students responding to a QR code and writing his responses based on what the QR code prompted him to do. The Erasma app is a perfect example of redefinition. Erasma leverages augmented reality and provides endless opportunities for use for both teachers and students. In this picture, you can see the workflow of how I've used Erasma with my first graders. So I read a tweet by Will Kimbley that said, "Hey math teachers, why not give students the answer to a math problem and say, 'Now solve it'?" I used that as inspiration and I began to challenge my students to do just that. Prove to me how they got to the correct answer. I recorded my students explaining the strategy they chose to solve the math problem, and I used that video as an overlay to the trigger image, which was their actual math work. When using the Erasma app, a person can scan my students' math work and the videos will appear, and you will hear each student explain how they solved their math equation. Augmented reality allows for the creation of new tasks, but so do apps like iMovie, Telegami, and even Google Earth. Now you can see how this level, redefinition, really truly allows for the creation of new tasks that were previously inconceivable. I want to share with you another incredible app that will allow your students to redefine their learning. It's an app that can really transform how your students begin to share content that they themselves are creating. The app is called ThingLink. This app allows your students to link a bunch of content from videos they make or videos they want to access to writing, pictures for background knowledge, and even art or finished products that they've created in other apps. ThingLink is the perfect app to use when you or your students are app smashing. App smashing means they're using multiple apps or combining products from multiple apps to complete one final project. The ThingLink here is from Mr. Kyle Meyer's third grade class at Valencia Park. This was their first time using ThingLink, and within this project the students shared videos about how snowflakes are created, images of real snowflakes, their own writing about snowflakes, and information about a math and art project on symmetry. This year we will be continuing the discussion of how the SAMR model can help us use technology to enhance and transform teaching and learning in the Fullerton School District. Would you please take a moment and complete this very brief survey? The valuable information you provide will help us know how we can support you this year as we work together to implement Fullerton School District's Visible Innovation Program. Thank you for your time.